waliwo akatambi kano kali no international kali kujjeno kaguta Museveni ne government ye president Yagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine agenda jukuba ennume y'ekigu mu bbanga ttono nnyo so tukalabe tukawulirize n'obwegendereza n'obukakkamu.
Before we even start in the struggle, or even before we start fighting for our freedoms, it's very important to understand humanity and understanding our human rights, because without understanding that, actually that should be the foundation. If you do not understand the human rights, then it's so, even if you fight, yes, you're fighting, but you've not understood, because the same things are going to repeat themselves like the dictator if we do not value each other. I think very important that valuing human rights should be the key thing. Then from there sprouts all these other things that we want to fight for. Because if you do not understand the value of you, a fellow human being, then what rights are you fighting for? So thank you so much, Katie, for Teacher Katie, for that great insight. And just my closing remarks, I just want to say that, like she said, human rights is very key. And how does it tie into press freedom? How does it tie into peace? So like she said, it has to start with you, and all those things you have to understand them first before you fight for them. Because if you don't understand what you're fighting for, then it's going to be so hard, in fact, to propagate it out there. So I just want to thank you for that. But otherwise, just to add to what she said, human dignity guides actions. It emphasizes empathy, fairness, and justice. A free press informs movements, provides context, provides data and narratives. So those two are very important. So when the people who are on platforms, on different platforms, radio, TV, whatever, and the activists corroborate, then they amplify each other's impact. But if the journalists and whatever, those people who are on platforms or on spaces are saying something else, and you ask the activists are doing something else, then the movement is kind of not, it's in disarray. Somebody's promoting somebody instead of doing their job of informing and, promoting things, amplifying things that the movement is supposed to, drive forward. So it will be in disarray. So there's need for that collaboration. They are challenged, both the journalists or those people on spaces, on radio, whatever, they challenge the oppressive system, advocate for justice, and lay the groundwork for a more harmonious world. So my question to you, Teacher Katie, and I'll be the first one to say, is that for someone who doesn't know their rights, how are they able to effectively stand out there and fight for the human rights of the others in a society or in a nation? Thank you.
For somebody who doesn't know their rights, they still can see something is wrong. They can still feel that something is incorrect, and they can still fight. But it's important, with free press especially, to educate those people, let them understand what it is they are fighting for. But until they are educated, let them fight with us hand in hand. Joy, I know that it's I know it's difficult to be able to tell a person that they have the right to this, and this, especially when they've never had those rights given to them before. But instead of telling them, teach them. Show them that there's a world out there that is better than what they're living now. And that world must include human rights. That world must include them, and they have a right to it. It takes time, it takes patience, takes understanding, but it is worth it. Because even if you only convince one to understand what it really means to have human rights, you've just convinced an entire universe of a person. And that is so valuable. I hope that helps. It's kind of a difficult thing to put into words, but that's my answer.
Thank you. Back to you, Comrade Dorcas. Thank you. Teacher Katie.
Thank you so much, Teacher Katie, for that. And comrades, this lecture is actually to really empower us, to educate us and remind us, you know, as the dictator is suffocating us in Uganda, we really have to be reminded of what our rights are, you know. And it's not long ago we shared a moment of silence, 30 minutes back, you know, to show you a few of our brothers that have been murdered. And even if it's just the one person, we should be concerned. I live in Britain, and if one British or one person, one Briton or one British person is stranded somewhere, you know, the whole country will be looking for that person. But for us, the dictator has killed Ugandans for years, and we're just seated, we are silent. It is unacceptable. At the moment, we are demanding for political prisoners, you know, because most of them are actually prisoners of conscience. The dictator has locked them away because he simply does not want to hear them talking about His Excellence, Mr. Kyagulanyi, the other political party. So we have no democracy whatsoever. We have no rights in Uganda. We cannot afford to be silent. So yeah, this lecture is to remind each and every one of us, let us have that awareness of our rights. And of course, we must fight for our rights. We've demanded, I don't think the dictator is going to give us anything. So we have to fight for our rights and our freedom. We have to have our freedoms reinstilled. Yes, thank you so much, Teacher Katie, for that. Godfrey, I see your hand is up. Please do come in, and apologies for the wait. How are you today, brother?
I'm okay, Dorcas. Thanks very much. Thanks very much to Teacher Katie. I've got two quick questions, just to have a different take from her. One, when we said we shouldn't pick battles we can win. So what do you do with those you feel you can't win? That's the first question. And the second one is freedom to make mistakes. That's a quote from, I think, Ghana. So what do you do with someone who keeps repeating the same mistake? Yeah. The first one you could forgive, but when someone keeps repeating the same mistakes, what do you do? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Godfrey. So the first question was, what do you do with the battles that you can't win? Well, that is difficult because if you choose to fight it, you might be fighting a battle you know you're going to lose. But that doesn't mean that you're going to lose the war, more or less. Sometimes you have to pick a battle that you know you're not going to win. And that's horrible. If there's a way to avoid it, try to. But movements have to have these strategic bits. They have to ebb and flow. And if there's a point where you have to fight a battle that you're probably not going to win, it's still worth fighting. I'm not saying don't ever do it. I'm just saying always remember who you're putting in danger. Always see those humans who are with you as vital, beautiful gems that you do not want to put in any kind of danger. That being said, those things happen. Those things happen and they create incredible change. Just feel the weight of it before you do. Know that these things are possible. And when you're fighting a battle that you don't think you can win, don't let anyone know you don't think you can win it. It is important in those moments to let them see how much confidence you have in them. Because even though you don't think you can win it, you might. Stranger things have happened. Weirder things have happened. You might win it. So when those moments come, and they will, instead of thinking, oh crap, I don't think we can win this battle, think, all right, this is where we are. This is what we can accomplish. And I know we can. And you turn that I don't think we can win it into absolute faith in the people who are fighting beside you. Because those days come and it's no fun. But you can win it. You can win those big battles. Just be sure that you feel the weight of it. Don't throw away a human ever. That's all that means. And be clever. Like if you don't think you can win a battle head on, maybe come at it from the side. Be clever. Figure it out. Really honor the people you're leading and figure out a clever approach that might increase your chances of winning. Okay. Now, the second question was, how do you get somebody to listen more or less when they just say the same thing over and over and over and over again? That is so common here. That is a problem that's so common here. And there is no easy answer. I could tell you what I do when somebody keeps just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. I recognize that they really, really want that thing to be true, even if it's just not. They really want it to be true. It's so important to them that it's true that it might be part of who they are. And if I attack who they are, we're getting nowhere. So if somebody keeps saying over and over and over and over again that the dictator is a good man, is a good man, he's a good man, he's a good man over and over and over and over again, and we know he's not, do you think you saying, yes, he is, yes, he is, yes, he is that gonna, or no, he's not, no, he's not, no, he's not, is that gonna do anything, or is that how children fight? So we have somebody who is determined to fight like a child and determined to believe what they're gonna believe. So if they continue, you can either say, hey, I respect you. Your opinion matters. You're valid, and I want to hear more about the things that you think are good that this man is doing, but I want to have a conversation about it. And if that's not possible, I'm afraid this conversation's over, and walk away. Because if they're just going to stonewall you like that, there's nowhere to go. You can just leave. And so what I do when I come across those people, I say, I validate, I say, that's interesting. Tell me about your perspective. And if they just continue saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, I'll just say, hey, life's too short to listen to incorrect information. And then I walk away. It works. So I don't know. That's how I keep my sanity. Because sometimes you're just like, how? Why do you think this? But you know, sometimes you have to protect your own sanity and just walk away. I hope that helps. I don't, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Teacher Katie, for that. And yes, Tina, you're going to come in. Actually, before Tina comes in, I just wanted to say this. Tina and the comrades in the USA and of course the UK and different chapters are always protesting on ground in Uganda, in their respective countries, US, UK, and of course Sweden and other Amsterdam. Oh, by the way, we did have the Amsterdam comrades protest at the I'll bring that clip up and share it. So the reason why I bring up demonstrations is because I need to remind people, even though it may look daunting or overwhelming that the dictator has got his ammunition, he's got guns, he's got everything. We, the ordinary people, do not have guns, but your phone or your presence at a demonstration does quite a lot. That is how we fight the battles. It may seem impossible, but the dictator's funding has been cut in half or even in 3/4 of it because of our protests, and we did not have to fight him with guns. So there's so many wars that we can fight cleverly or quietly, but we will win. So let us not be demoralized and fight on. Tina, Sister Tina, please do come in. I see you have double hands up. Sorry to keep you waiting. And then we'll hear from Grace.
I think Grace was before me.
Oh, okay, because I saw double hands up and okay.
Oh no, I was clapping, sister, for you. You almost said exactly what I was going to say to Godfrey.
I think it's so nice. Sorry.
Tell him whenever Grace speaks first, and then I'll come back.
Okay, sis. Thank you. Apologies. Yes, Sister Gracie, sorry to keep you. Please do come in. How are you, sister? Sister Grace, if you could, yes. Hi, how are you?
Finally, yeah, I was having trouble unmuting. And I cannot say much before I really appreciate you, Dorcas, and the whole organization that puts up these. Yeah, I can't start my video. Sorry.
Don't worry.
It's very morning time here, and I'm getting my child to go to her extracurricular. So yeah, but I've had it's such an honor for you guys to have all these classes for us, and from, you know, I really appreciate that, your effort, your inspiration. So you keep give us hope. So to the today's teacher, I do appreciate the presentation, and I wanted to provide context, and so probably then you can comment on that. The issue that seems we are dealing with now mostly is fear, and it's based on the 40 years of dictatorship. You know, much of it was not overt, like it wasn't something that people were aware of. It just kept creeping, like you said. You know, you see the little bit of space, and then it just gobbles it up until we are all suffocated, to use Dorcas's words. So we, not only in Uganda, but also in the diaspora, we are fearful, we are intimidated, we are infiltrated by security organs from the government that spy on us, that, intending to, cause harm directly to us, to our families. I mean, people die in mysterious ways. So it sounds like for those of us who are dealing with organizing, and I'm speaking about that because I'm dealing with a situation here locally, that we need to really have an approach to how we can get, people to come out. So I think you have mentioned a lot, but I want you to, with that context, help us kind of add a thought on that particular aspect. Thank you.
Well, first of all, Grace, you're doing amazing work, and it's incredible that you put those boots on the ground and get things moving the way you do. You're a leader that's very much worth following. But dealing with fear is something that we all must deal with, because that is the favorite tool of a dictator, fear. And giving up little by little is kind of the sneaky snake way of getting there. So I appreciate the context, because it's always a good idea to add a little context before you pretend like you know something. So it's never good to pretend you know something. But dealing with the fear of the community can only happen through hope and education. The best tool against fear is education, because it's when you look into a dark cave, it's scary because you don't know what's there. But when you light it up and become educated of what's in there, it's no longer scary. And the same is true for things like dictators. Once they're illuminated through education and truth, through the press, really, then there's no longer the fear. However, when people have lived with so little for so long, losing what little they have is a terrible fear. And we mustn't make them feel shameful or sad for being afraid, because there's good reason to fear. But there's better reason to fight. Let them know that they can either live under tyranny or they can fight today. That's where we're at. And it's and while that's a scary thought, you let them know that they are loved and appreciated, and that they will not just be thrown to the wolves. They will not be just thrown in front of somebody's gun, that they will be cared for, that that fear is shared between all of you, and so that they should not. That fear is shared. It is real, and that they should be feeling it. But because you are all feeling it together, and you are all fighting the same fight together, that fear no longer feels so heavy. The best way to fight fear is with hope and with acceptance. Do your best to let them know, yeah, it's scary. You're damn right. But what's scarier? And at least we have each other to lean on. At least the fear isn't only on one. At least the fight isn't just one person kicking against a wall, easily picked off. The more people are there, the less fear there is. But the only way to get more people is to validate and promise them that their life matters to you, and that you will not easily let them walk into something that will cause them more fear. I'm sorry if I don't have a better answer, but that is the way I would go about it. I would go one-on-one often, because that's the best way for people to see your authentic self. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, teacher, for that. Yes, so like saying, Tina, please do come in. And also, I just wanted to tell people that on the screen, I'm sharing that clip because it was just the other day in Amsterdam, where Dr. Nico and some of the comrades, of course, went. That is the Dam Square. And of course, on the National Remembrance Day. So these guys, they bravely held giant placards in this place. And that was too risky. They took that risk simply because Dr. Nico and the rest of the team wanted to amplify the sound of suffering in Amsterdam. So in the Netherlands. So guys, let us not be silent. This is how we can fight our battles. Yeah, I just sort of wanted to bring that in before Sister Tina comes in. She's the #1 fighter, demonstrator. Yes, sister, please do come in.
Yes, I wanted to address Godfrey first. The regime comes to us with a spear and a sword, but God comes to us with the name of the Lord. David fought that giant with God's power, God's might. He came up against that giant when everybody else was afraid of that giant. But David, he had that faith. He came out and he came with the word of the Lord. And what happened? He defeated that giant in the name of Jesus. And as to the fear thing, we're only to fear God. We're not to fear man, women, nothing like that. We're only to fear God. To fear God is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. God will give us the strength to go on to where we need to go to the next level. Don't ever let any man fear you, because you let them fear you, then they consume you. You just keep looking forward and keep chucking on and looking toward God to give you that perfect love Perfect love casts out all fear. And we love Uganda. We love our brothers and sisters. And we have no fear. Enough is enough with that regime. He's got to go in the name of Jesus. He's going to come down just like that giant came down. So keep your heads up, brothers and sisters, and stay fiery and don't get scared. Do not look at their faces. Do not let them consume you. You just stay focused on God and stay focused on our goal to free our brothers and sisters. Dorcas, we're not free until we are all free. I love you, my sister. Thank you, Miss Katie, for your lecture. It was awesome. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Tina. Yes, Sister Teacher Katie, please, if you, shall I take other hands?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, Tina. That was very passionate, and we really appreciate that everything you do for us and for the cause. So thank you, Tina.
Thank you. Sorry?
Should we go ahead and let Reggie talk? Is he next?
Yes, yes, we will take the rest, Everest, James, and Reggie all at once, and then we'll hear from you.
Sounds
Yes,
good.
I can't remember the order. Ernest, please do come in. Sorry, Everest. Apologies for murdering your name.
Thank you very much, Madam Dorcas and our super teacher, Katie. I'm grateful always to be here, and I enjoy the energy you bring to this platform. There are quite several concerns which have been raised, but I would possibly invite Madam Katie to highlight on the effects of conditioning, which has been possibly for centuries, because I think most of the fear is embedded in the conditioning. Would she highlight more so that the conditioning can be opened up and we see which layers we can actually climb and how we can overcome it? Because some of it is embedded in the new technology like AI and all these other social media and even TV. We need to really address all these ones and see how we can overcome this conditioning, which is embedded in policies like World Bank policies and the government policies. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Everest. We'll take James as well, and then we'll get one teacher to come back.
Do you mind, or do you want me to just answer them all at once then?
Okay, you can take Everest. It's
sorry. I wasn't sure how we were playing that. Sorry, but I just don't want to forget because I'm a little like a goldfish, and after a little while, it's like, okay, what questions did they ask? So, all right. First off, Everest, you are incredibly wise because understanding conditioning is probably the key to all of this. People get conditioned no matter where they are, based on what information they're getting and where it's coming from. This is real and this is difficult to fight because a person likes what makes them comfortable. And what makes them comfortable is not necessarily truth. What makes them comfortable is not necessarily something that will be good for them. Conditioning happens when they slowly turn the heat up. If you remember from my lecture last time, the frog in the pot, if you put the frog in a pot of cool water, it'll stay in it, and you just turn up the heat slowly, and the frog will stay in the pot and cook itself to death. But if you have a boiling pot and you stick the frog in it, it will jump right out. So conditioning works the same way. It is just turning the heat up slowly and surely until somebody is so conditioned that they cannot help themselves and they end up hurting themselves. Conditioning is difficult to battle because when you make a jump, when you say, okay, this thing is true, so this thing must be true. And if this thing is true, then this is true. If this is true, then this is true. And it becomes an extreme. And when that extreme happens, attacking even the smallest portion is an attack on them. So when dealing with a conditioned person, do not go in guns a-blazing. Go in with acceptance and an open heart, knowing what is true, but willing to listen. You would be amazed how quickly somebody is willing to listen to you, even when they're deeply conditioned, when you take a moment to listen to them first, even if you know it's nonsense. Now, like the other, our lovely other friend was saying, if they just keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, sometimes you just have to walk away, and that's okay. Conditioning is hard to fight, but the only way to fight it is with compassion. And now I know that you mentioned that it's in like all of the internet stuff, all the social media stuff, and that is hard to fight, but you fight it with truth. You get on the on media and you start blasting the truth as loud as they blast the fake things. You just have to. And you might end up going to war on the internet as far as that's concerned, one against the other. But the world needs to see both sides. The world needs that truth out there. Ignoring their statements, it will help no one. Get out there, put the truth out there. That's what we do. Fighting lies with truth is the only way to battle that kind of conditioning. So I hope that helps. Yeah, so thank you, Everest. I really appreciate that. Can we have James next? Go ahead, James. James, you're not unmuted, but we can see you. James, you're not unmuted. Oh, it won't unmute. Do you think you can unmute him, D?
Yeah, I've just been unmuted. Katie, the first thing I wanted to do was to thank the likes of you, Tina, Dr. Nico, those who join us in the fight for freedom in Uganda. And I will go ahead and say, I will say this in Luganda and translate it in English. We have, I am not a Muganda, but it's a language I have grown speaking. They say, Nanyi ni mufu ya kwata waunya. If you have a corpse, if you have lost a relative, you, the owner of the dead, must be the one to lead in the wrapping of the body. So your efforts to help us stand out, but like as your effort stands out, where is our effort as Ugandans? As I was speaking, as you were speaking, I was just making a tweet, and I was castigating the US Embassy. Yesterday, they were endorsing government of Uganda for providing regional security. What's the regional security when you don't have national security? And when I saw the ambassador with the defense minister, who is Oboto from my district, and the rest of the echelon from the UPDF, indeed, I just shed tears. And I'm like, these fellas curse the US with this arm and endorse the US with the other arm. Or the US also curses us with this arm and endorses us with the other arm. Because it is the UPDF, it's the arming of the army of Uganda that has caused us this fear and that far. But I can also talk about overcoming fear. I'm one person who works in the health profession. And yesterday I was talking to a few colleagues that, do we still have to fear? As I enter a hospital at 60 years, almost every person I'm seeing is older than me. They are facing death almost every other day. And I'm like, age-related illnesses. So how much do I have to fear other than pass on something to the young people? And I've been struggling with people from home. Hey, Katie, I come from a district that has gold of the world. $12 trillion US gold is from Busia, where I come from. Cement comes from also the same district. And then the Nile perch, which is the best fish in the world, comes from the same district. It is China, it is India, it is Korea, it is the US in all these things. And we're like, but you people, for how long shall we sit down? Why can't we become the generation that will say no to poverty? And you cannot say no to poverty when you have even a book here documenting, this is a book, America, another fine mess in Uganda. This book is written by a professor from America. It's about how much the money that is sent to us only uplifts the army. It doesn't uplift us. That's why we end up here. So for us who are taught by you people, for us who are taught, how much can we put what we have told into lessons? Somebody documents a book, somebody comes and puts that time on us here. And you after this, you look for Ugandan, you don't see them. I would wish that the 35 or 40 of us here, when we leave, get his lesson, each person takes on their district. We must overcome fear, because for how long shall we fear? We are all thinking, whether we are in America here, you can't be here and think yourself, because you think somebody tells you work hard and change home. You can't work, you can't make money that you need to use to pay for the services America gives you to change your home. We have resources at home. We need to overcome fear and use our resources. Kate, thank you for being there for us. Tina, thank you for being there for us. But as Ugandans, can we take the mantle and be in front? It is us, the owner of the cops. That country that is rotting is ours. Thank you.
Thank you, James. That was wonderful. And it is absolutely my pleasure. And it is not my goal to be anything more than a support, making sure that Ugandans have the ability and the knowledge and the support they need to be able to pull themselves out of poverty and be that generation that James spoke of. I'm very excited to watch it happen, because I know it will happen. I know it will happen because of the leaders that are here today. And I know it'll be in my lifetime. Reggie, go ahead.
Ozowulira byonna ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga lya Uganda. Nti nno ensi yonna amatu era amaaso bagatadde ku Uganda yaffe. Abazungu bonna obudde obutadde ku Uganda okulanga Uganda etereera, okulanga Uganda evaamu ekyaddala, okulanga Yona Museveni n'obukulembeze bwe buvaawo, bannayuganda basobole okwekulembera, basobole okubeera mu nsi entukuvu, basobole okubeera mu nsi ennungi gye beeyagaliramu okusinga nga bw'eri olwaleero eya Yona Museveni nga awamba abantu, atewola eddembe ly'obuntu, atta abantu baavu, enguzi mpitirivu, nga buli kikyamu kyonna kiri ku ye ng'omuntu. N'olwekyo Abannayuganda ababeera emitala amayanja n'ababeera eka, abazungu bonna amawanga gonna abadde bayambako Yona Museveni bonna kati abasituse batadde waggulu w'amaaso n'omutwe nga bagamba nedda, walina okubaawo ekikolebwa, walina okubaawo kye tukola. Uganda erina okukyuka, Uganda erina okuba ensi endala nga teri wansi wa nakyemalira, nga teri wansi dictator aveewo, bano basobola okweyagalira mu nsi yaabwe, ate nno gwe mulamu oguliwo kyekiriwo okulanga ensi yaffe wamma gwe tugyenyumiririzaamu ebeera ensi ddala eyeesiimisa ggwe nange. Ffenna nga tugyenyumiririzaamu nga eddembe ly'obuntu we liri, tewali kiwamba bantu, tewali kitta bantu, tewali kitulugunya bantu, tewali nguzi, ate nga tewali kibba bululu, ng'obuyinza bw'ensi yaffe tubawulira nga bannansi, ate ng'ebyenjigiriza biri talatibu, ebyentambula biriwaawo, eby'amasomero n'ebyamalwaliro n'ebyenzijanjaba nga nabyo wamma bya mulembe, bitwaganye n'omusolo gwe tuwa. Naye tuwa omusolo muyitirivu, wabula tufuna value for tax. Otambula e Kampala n'ogamba oba ndi mukyalo eyo gye balonda ente ng'enfuufu etuumuka bweti mu bbanga, n'oweebuuza nti lwaki ekibuga ekikulu eky'eggwanga kyandala ekituumukamu enfuufu? N'osanga nga oluguudo baakalukola naye nga balusumoggodde. N'oweebuuza nti bwe baali bapulaninga okukola oluguudo olwo tebapulaninga nti walina okuyitawo amasannyalaze, walina okuyitawo amasimu, walina okuyitawo amazzi, nti tebabirowoozaako nti walina okuyitawo intaneti, nti bo endowooza zaabwe zikyaliri mu analogu. Okimanyi kati ensi ekyuse. Tebaluzaako nno walina okuyitawo satellite, nga ebintu tebabipulaani nga biteerawo mukutu gwabyo oba omuwazi mwe birina okuyita. Nti wano guyitamu masannyalaze, guyitamu intaneti, guyitamu cables, guyitamu kino na kino, nga tebabirowoozaako, nga balina kujja kusima luguudo olupya lwe bakakola ne babiyisaawo. Ate buli ajja ayisaawo kake, aye taddamu kukolawo. Ettaka ne libuna ekibuga n'olaba. N'osanga ebizimbe ebizimbiddwa eby'ebbeeyi naye ng'enzija si nkole. nga awo wennyini wasembera ku luguudo obaga nti no man is land ku luguudo ne ploti ye nga nawo si wakole nga ttaka n'osanga enguudo ezirikize ziyingira Kampala nga zonna za ttaka ati nga amazzi mukoka bw'atonnya gonna agaveeyo mu nguudo z'ettaka eri wakati mu kibuga negamba lwaki enguudo zonna eziri mu Kampala tezikolwa ne ziba nga za koolaasi ng'amazzi ne gavayo gajja vayo nga gatukula tegaliimu ttaka n'osanga emifulejje gyonna nga givumedde wegiti naye lwaki lwabakulembeza bakyali eri mu analogo tebalowooza waje tugenda mu maaso era bo bakuba nti baakulireyo mu nsiko mu nguudo ze tuyita ebisinde kati bw'alaba e Kampala alaba anyirira nnyo oba bakulira mu bisinde eby'ente ente wezise ne zikolawo ekkubo gye baakulira kati balaba ebyo ate bw'ojja Kampala tekiba kirala nnyo tuba tebalowooza ku nsuwa gye erina kulagira gye erina kuba bo baatulekayo eyo kati gwe munnayuganda gwena okukyusa ekyo gwena okukyusa ensi yo gwena okukyusa eggwanga lyo ng'okola buli ekigwanidde okukola mu maanyi go ng'okeera ku makya n'obaako kyokola ekyusa eggwanga okola ng'abaana abazzukulu bawangalira mu nsi eno nga nnungi mbaagala nnyo mwenna walabanga nti no waliwo akwatiddeko naawe ofa n'okwata n'onyweza bagambye omusajja agambye nti nanyini mufu yakwate wawunya ate atalina mukamwana yekamwana yekka netuba tufunye abatwekwamwanirako baguni twekwamwane abazungu nga nove nebakwata ku nsonga zaffe nove batulwanirireko ffe bannayuganda netwekamwane twongere okulwana nga ensi yaffe etereere mbaagala nnyo mwenna Katonda akuume mweraba